Hey, it's Joy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got 3 5-minute cards to share with you using my favorite Spellbinders holiday products. So for my cards, I am using the Chic Merry Christmas BetterPress plate and some of my favorite inks. So I always tend to do my ink blending first. For this, you'll need at least 3 to 4 ink blends for each panel. So I am using my mid-tone ink towards the top 1/3 of my card panel, concentrating it the darkest at the very top. Once I'm happy with that blend, then I bring in my lightest color and I make sure to blend that over the line, the delineation between the two colors, and then I extend that down the bottom 2/3 of the card. Now I do make sure to do just a very light blend at the bottom so it gives you the illusion of an ombre effect. Now I bring out my BetterPress System and I ink up the Merry Christmas with the darkest of my teal colors. Now I want to mention that I use some foam silicone inks, and prior to this I had not tried any of the foam pads. I've always used the felt pads. You can see that on my channel and also on my Facebook Lives, but I've used every ink under the sun for these, and indeed the swishable inks or the silicone pads do work. They do not bleed all the way down to the bottom of the BetterPress plate, so the part that's raised is the only part that inks, and then that presses down into the paper. Here I used 3 of the pink inks, and now I'm bringing in a 4th one, and this is actually kind of a purplish pink color. And this is going to give a really nice contrast onto this pink blended panel. So I'm showing you that I am placing the top portion, which is the darkest at the top. And then I run that through my Platinum 6 machine, and look at this impression. It's perfect every time. Mind you, I had all that ink that was on the tray and it didn't matter. Here I am slowing down the process and I'm showing you the full process of my blending because I want to show you kind of a technique in here. Nothing new. I'm using my scariest, darkest purple, and I am concentrating that at the top 1/3 of my panel. Nothing new here. I'm using foam dome blenders, but you could use a brush if you wanted to. Then for my mid-tone, which would be the color that you see the majority of, I am using that same pinkish purple color that I used on the last one. And you can see that the top color is extremely saturated, meaning almost black, and then this color doesn't mix at all. So I am using 3 analogous colors, which means that they are next to each other on the color wheel, in this case the same family, but this middle color is way off as far as that saturation goes. So you're going to say, well, how do you fix that? Well, let's stay tuned and we'll find out. Now I want to mention that this is part of a blog hop, so if you want to win some prizes, head over to my blog. That'll be linked in the description box below. Now I'm bringing in the 3rd color, which is a much lighter version of the purple. But again, it does not match the 2 other purples as far as the saturation goes. So once I get that blended perfectly, then I come in with that mid-tone color. And at first I swipe that across the center where the actual mid-tone is, and then I start to extend that into the darkest purple, and then now you're seeing me extend that down into the lightest purple. So if you've seen me color with Copics, which I'm sure most of you have, you'll notice that sometimes I don't get a good blend. So I always use my mid-tone color and I glaze it. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm glazing that with my mid-tone color on the top and bottom. And then once the dye ink kind of fades back, you've got a perfect blend between the two. I then ink this up with the same super dark purple ink using the BetterPress System. I make sure that my panel is lined up on my BetterPress using some of the Best Ever craft tape. And then I press that through using my Platinum 6 machine. Again, my Platinum is off camera, but I think you get the idea. There are a lot of tutorials out there, and look at this impression. It's absolutely perfect. Here I pop up the front panel with a foam adhesive sheet, and I just line that up. I cut that about 1/4 of an inch smaller on each side so that you don't see it. And then I use some of my Barely Art glue to just add a little bit of extra wiggle room in case I don't get my panel on straight. And that is just a little tip and trick that I have found that helps me, because I never seem to get the placement correct. And you're seeing a glue holder that's meant for barely art glue. That is available in the Prickly Pear shop. If you are interested, that'll be linked in the description box below. And here I'm just repeating the process, this time putting the teal and the pinks onto a white card base. From there, I'm using some iridescent confetti from my stash, and I am just putting those in rules of 3, leading to the top of the card to keep the eye moving. And then I do the same process with the other 2 cards. However, with the teal card, I use teal confettis. You could use whatever's in your stash. This is just my preference. So I thank you so much. You'll find all of the hop information and links to my blog in the description box below. I really do appreciate your time. I love hanging out with you, and I hope that you'll come back another time to hang out with me to see my makes and my takes. Until next time, friends, keep crafting. Bye-bye.